What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the True Blue Podcast. I am your host, Zachary Succardi. Thank you for joining me. This is session 15. Happy to be here for 15. This is my 15th episode, so that's pretty cool. I remember turning 15. I had great taste in music. I think I skateboarded for sure. I for sure skateboarded. I had been going to punk shows. It was definitely one of the better years of going to, just one of the inaugural years of me getting really into punk and the scene and the local shit. Yeah, 15 is cool. Yeah, so that's cool. So here we are, session 15 with your boy. It's May 20th, so it's 5:20. Not 4:20, but it's 5:20. So we progressed a month. It's taken me a while to do another episode. That depression's a motherfucker, let me tell you. Sometimes it's hard to hit record and just start flowing like I'm doing right now. But nonetheless, here I am, and here we are. So that's awesome. So gonna go over a couple things today. Actually going to talk a little bit about my dog and how amazing she is, and just some of the benefits of owning a dog. I've been trying to tell some of my homies lately to, look into adopting a dog. Some of my homies back in Jersey. So putting it in their ear. So I thought it'd be a nice time. And plus, it was my dog's birthday last week. So I thought, this would be a great time to tell the story of how I met my dog and talk about some benefits. And of course, I'll start off with a little recap since we last spoke. And then I'll do my music. I'll give you some fucking jams. Some dope-ass jams that I'll add to my playlist, which is on Spotify, the True Blue playlist. Pretty much I just put a playlist of all the songs that I mentioned. One of the goals of this podcast is to share good music and music that moves me and that I'm happy exists and I can put out there. Pardon me. And then again, it's going to end with a poem. I actually going to read some poetry from William Carlos Williams, a poetry book called Patterson, named after Patterson, New Jersey. So that's a little run through, pardon, of what we're going to talk about. So gosh, I haven't done an episode in probably close to a month, which is, is not how I planned it, but hey, I'm happy to be doing it. I'm happy to be here, present and creative, and just keep this going. Definitely, as I'm talking and as I'm seeing the sound files and the sound waves and all that shit increase based on how much I'm speaking, it reminds me of how important this is. And it's kind of cool because the sound waves are multicolored, so it's kind of neat to see your voice create these colors. I'm not that high, I swear. I haven't smoked anything out of the ordinary, but I'm just bringing you into you know what I'm saying? Bringing you know what I'm saying? So just a little recap here. Let's see here. I just wrote a couple notes of a couple things. So it was my dog's birthday, which was amazing. Very, very happy. I celebrated with her, and it was great. I'll get into that here when I tell my story about her. So I've been doing the Zoom calls. I've been Zooming with some of my homies back in Jersey so far in the past 4 Saturdays. We've been getting together for an hour, maybe 2, and it's been great. I don't know if I spoke about it too much on the last episode, but it's been great. It really, it's so cool to see their faces and just we talk music and, showing all kinds of stuff from pictures to flyers to ticket stubs, records. I bought a bunch of records last week, and it was cool. I got to kind of unpack them with them or just show them. It was real cool and got us talking music. And man, it's so fun to talk music with your friends, your friends who are really into music just like you are. It's so fun because it's just no one's wrong, no one's right. It's just all how you're feeling, and just the way music, the way you respond to it, the memories of it, and it's so, oh man, when someone's really talking about something that they're really passionate about, it kind of excites you, and it makes you want to just listen, really, really intense, really intensely, and then just think about all the things that, it's making you think about and sharing that. It's so fun, and we've been talking a lot of music, so that's been great, and that's something that I really enjoy, and it's great to see your homies' faces. It's great to show shit and be able to joke around and stuff. So that's really cool. I wanted to just share that kind of right off the bat. That's been something I really enjoy, so hope to continue that. Been noticing a lot of these memes, or I don't know, probably just more posts, but they're these like sports teams, and they'll say, what does this logo make you think of? And like, I guess that's cool, but there's some of these online trends that I'm just like, ugh. And every time I see that one, it's sort of recent where they show you the team's logo and, they ask you about the player or whatever. Sometimes I'm like, fuck this team, or what, I don't know. Some of these online, as I said, these memes and trends, I'm just a little bit like, yeah, nah, how about nah? One I do like, though, I did want to shout out, is if you ever see people who post a picture and they, it's of whatever, someone from a movie or, whoever, and it's like wrong answers only. That's kind of cool. And then you see a whole thread of people, trying to be creative and be funny. That I kind of dig, that wrong answers only one. You really can, tap into some really obscure shit and then post it on there and see if someone gets it. That's actually kind of a cool one. And hey, I also wanted to mention something else. I don't know. I just kind of wrote a list of things I guess I wanted to talk about. I guess that maybe annoy me, or just things that I just wanted to share and just vent about. So I was talking to someone this week, and they had said something about first world problems. They were talking. It was probably something about like getting something for their phone. Maybe it was something very like materialistic, but it didn't faze me. I was just listening. And they're like, yeah, first world problems. And I've heard that from time to time, and I am not a fan of that one, because to me, a problem is a motherfucking problem. And I know people are just saying it to be funny, and it's hip and stuff, so they can say it and maybe get a laugh. But when it's said to me, I'm like, first world problems. I'm like, that shit's still a problem, right? Like, if you were to look at yourself like the predator lurks at you, and like, you could just see like all your like heat waves and shit, it's still going to be the same kind of stress. It's still a damn problem. I mean, I do understand there are differences between people's problems of having to, decide what, outfit to wear, to people who actually have to, get their food and all this shit. Like, I do understand there's a difference. But when I hear that first world problem shit, I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. It's still a problem, right? Like, we're going to get to the root of it. But I don't go so deep. I understand people are just trying to be funny. They're just trying to be hip and funny and stuff. But once in a while, and I think I may have said something to this person, and they kind of agreed with me. And I was very gentle. I didn't say anything douchey like I'm saying it now. But it was just like, yeah, hey, this is how I see that. It's still a problem, right? Like, that's the word that still remains, whether you say first world or, pepperoni pizza eater problems, whatever. I used to have a problem eating pizza to get it on my shirt, so I used to have a designated pizza shirt. It was a fucking white shirt. Figured, why not, right? Might as well get a little creative. And I remember we would get pizza. We'd get pizza a bunch back in Jersey. We'd always do it for whoever's birthday, my mom, my sister. It was always our dinner. I don't know if this was a birthday one. This may have just been a Friday pizza. And, I remember putting on this shirt. It's really cool. Like, I was just white shirt, and I was just like, whatever. I was ready to eat some pizza, and I ate a ton. I was in real good shape too. So like, I'm not trying to say I was fucking, you know what I'm saying? And I just remember eating so much pizza and it being like, damn, I'd probably put away like 5 slices like that. And these aren't those pussy slices. These are the real deal. You go to some of these places out here in New Mexico and they cut it up like it's a kid's party. I'm like, the fuck, man? I don't want to have a slice. There's like 3 little slices here. Know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was kind of a funny memory. Oh yeah, and I also want to say all the music I'm talking about, all the music I've been talking about on this episode, I have in a playlist. Not on this episode, on this podcast. I have in a playlist. And my homies and I in our Zoom call, we're doing something similar where we put a Zoom playlist, and Spotify makes it cool where you can create a playlist and then everyone can contribute to it. So everyone, can put their songs in it, and you can see who added what. So I don't know if you knew that. So if you didn't, you should try to do that. It's kind of fun. You can think of different themes to do with your friends and shit. especially if they have good taste in music. If they have whack ass taste in music, you may want to hold off on that one. All right, so let's fucking get into it, man. Gonna tell you a quick story about how I got my dog, and then I'm going to talk about some of the benefits, just comment on some of the benefits of having a dog. These may be obvious to some of you. Maybe it may not be, though. If it is, maybe, just me expanding upon it, you may hear something that kind of clicks and reinforces something. For those who aren't aware of maybe some of these benefits, it may enlighten you to go, man, these things are just so, lovable and XYZ. So hearing all these benefits that this motherfucker's, spouting out, I may pursue getting myself a dog. Or you could just enjoy how much I enjoy talking about it. So it's all good. All right, so going to get into the story here. So my dog, her name is Lulu. She belonged to my neighbor, Deborah. Deborah was from upstate New York, and me being from Jersey, we connected. She was my neighbor for probably 7.5 years. She's real cool. She used to go to the church that I attend. She even was she could administer communion, so that was cool. I would receive communion from her and stuff like. That was kind of a cool thing, to connect on that spiritual level. And she had this dog Lulu, and she was just a loud ass dog. Every time I would knock on her door, the fucking dog would just bark. But she's so small, she would just come out and love and lick. She just, as most dogs do, you fucking hear something and they bark. People knock and they bark for no fucking reason. Anyway, my dear neighbor had passed away last July. I actually was there the night she passed away because she had fallen, and her friend who was taking care of her knocked on my door to see if I could help pick her up. And my neighbor was really frail, really ill. Pardon me. She had a lot going on. I won't get too into it, but she had a lot going on that I honestly couldn't pick her up. It would have been honestly a detriment to her health. So we called an ambulance, and they came, and then I had Lulu since, pretty much. I took care of her that night by walking her, and I kept her in my neighbor's apartment, and it turned out my neighbor passed away the following morning. God rest her soul. She's such a wonderful spirit. Really, really sad, because she was a great neighbor. And let me tell you guys something. Good fucking neighbors are, they're underrated. They're so, amazing. It's like an extension of your family. You gotta live right next door to these motherfucking people. So that you have good neighbors, God bless them. Really, if you have good neighbors, you are lucky on this planet, because there's so many wild cards out there. So many wild cards in our circle of friends and our family and our coworkers. So imagine neighbor. It's just, who knows what. So shout out to all those good neighbors. I think I'm a good neighbor. I'm a little loud sometimes, and I say fuck really loud sometimes when I'm upset. But that's it. That's it. I'm not even though I play drums and all that shit, but I'm definitely a good neighbor. Yeah, I'm a good neighbor. Anyway, back to the story. So my dear neighbor passed away, and I took care of Lulu, walked her and stuff, and I left her in my neighbor's apartment because I wasn't sure I was going to take her. I was just sort of taking care of her. But it turned out that I brought her into this apartment because there was something where I couldn't take care of her over there. They had to sort of move everything out. So once I brought her over here, I guess fell in love. I did. She's a poodle and then a mix of something else, which I have no idea what. She's real small. She's she's really small. She's 16 pounds. And so I kept her since. I've had her since, and I felt just so sad for her, for losing her friend, her best friend, and her owner. And I believe before Deb got Lulu, she belonged to a woman who passed away. So my dog Lulu has been through a couple deaths, and this may sound weird to some people, but these dogs feel it. They feel that connection, and they feel when there's a loss. So she was definitely depressed when I first got her, but I felt like it was the right thing to do. I almost felt like I don't know. I felt like it definitely was like a divine intervention there. A little backstory on the name Lulu. I'm a big fan of The Honeymooners. It's my favorite show. It's so fucking funny. It came out in the 50s and it's still funny. And there's an episode where Norton is sleepwalking, and Ralph, played by Jackie Gleason, is trying to help remedy his sleepwalking. And while he's sleepwalking, Norton calls out Lulu. Turns out Lulu was his dog's name that ran away as a kid. So Ralph gets him a dog, cures his sleepwalking, everything's great. And the dog was named Lulu, and he calls out to it, and it's very distinct within the episode. And it always stuck with me, Lulu. So that my neighbor's dog was named Lulu, I'm like, oh, look at that shit, right from The Honeymooners, which is New York. You're from New York. I'm from New Jersey. Bing, 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 bing. All these things going off, So that her name's Lulu, it really like stuck with me, and that like she's my first dog that I personally own and take care of, and that her name comes from something so nostalgic for me, so memorable, and has so many great like feelings of, of course, laughter because it's The Honeymooners, and love, and it was a black and white show. I remember just all these great feelings. So that I now am the owner of Lulu and taking care of her, it just feels special. You know what I mean? It feels like it's not a coincidence that my dear neighbor got Lulu so many years ago, and here I am taking care of her for my neighbor, and it's been such a like a blessing. I just love her so fucking much, and I don't have kids, and I don't know. I have deep relationships, but I've learned so much about love from my dog Lulu. And I know the whole unconditional love. I had dogs living in Jersey. Like, we all had them. I should say my family had them. But to have Lulu just for me, and just like the way she loves and behaves and stuff, like, it really has taught me a lot. Like, I put up with a lot, I don't mind some things. Her breath reeks. I don't mind. She fucking pissed today. I was working, and she pissed. Oh, my God, all around my workstation. I had to fucking take like an hour break, clean off all this shit. Not shit, but piss, which is way harder to clean than fucking shit. I wish she shit everywhere. I just pick those little fuckers up, flush them, spray, dab, dry, all that shit. But yeah, she pissed everywhere. But, I still love her, and like that's something that like is definitely a challenge for me when there's like something like that comes up, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck, So it's definitely teaching me things, and it's so cool that like you can get that from a dog. So I just wanted to kind of share my story about Lulu. It was her birthday recently, and I made a big deal about it because what the fuck else is there to do? You know what I'm saying? Plus, even if there were no quarantine, let me tell you, I'd still make a motherfucking big deal about it. So I ordered her like a jersey, a New Jersey Devils jersey. She really wanted it. And then I got her like a bunch of these treats. And then I gave her a little whipped cream from Starbucks. I don't even drink coffee, but I drove through there and gave her a little whipped cream. So she loved that, and just I sang to her and shit, and like just loved her and talked to her like she's a human and told her what she means to me and shit. Like, it sounds wacky maybe, but like, my God, like it's so like it feels like it's so like emotional, or you just like connect. You really connect. It's such a deep relationship. And I mean, through this quarantine, it's just been her and I. Literally, I'm working from home, so it's her and I. So like, it's just amazing. Like, it's like weird timing with things, but if not for her, gosh, it would be more of a challenge than it maybe already is with some of the things during this. So, yeah, just give you a little background on the story of Lulu, who, again, I just love, and it's just amazing, like, the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm just, enjoying this. I'll have her for, like, a year in July, like, around the 1st of July. I'll have her for a year, so she gets a haircut on May 30th, and I'm excited for that. It's how life goes. When you're 30 and you own a dog, you get excited because they're getting a haircut. You know what I'm saying? All right, so hey, that's a little bit of the backstory of my dog Lulu and some of the feelings and experiences that I've gone through with her. So, yeah. Now I'm going to talk about some benefits of having dogs like Lulu and just make a couple comments on them. I just did a little Googling and found some shit. The first thing is you'll exercise more. Well, that's good, right? We got to get the fuck off the sofa. You know what I'm saying? That fucking Netflix and that YouTubing. You know what I'm saying? So it's good that you exercise more, even if you just walk them, just to piss and shit. You're still moving. I mean, yeah, it's not like, X amount of time with, pace or whatever, but you definitely exercise more. And honestly, I shouldn't say that because I have a smaller dog, but if you have a medium-sized, large dog, you can exercise with that fucker. I've seen people running all the time with him, which is great. It really is, I think it's great to get moving with him. And then second on the list, you'll feel less stressed. Well, duh. I mean, right? Duh. It should say under that instead of all this explanation. It should just say duh. Like, fucking A, man. That's great to know. That, if you own a dog, it's going to reduce your daily stress. And it has. Because, you go through your whole day, and, when I was out working, you have whatever kind of day, and when you come home, they're so fucking excited. They're so excited to see you. It's like, it's the best. It is the best. I think it's the best feeling. And I'm sure that's how it is with people and some of their kids and family members. But for me and my dog, my gosh, when I come home, I'm like fucking, she's like paparazzi, or she's like a teenage girl and I'm some fucking hunk from Tiger Beat, She's freaking out. And it's the best. I fucking love it. I think everyone should get that. It's one of the things in life. There's a couple staples, and this is one of them. You should have that kind of feeling from an animal or person when you come home. And honestly, the surefire bet is to get a dog. I can't really say that other animals or people are going to be that consistent. So another thing here, and this is an interesting one. You may detect cancer sooner. I know you guys have seen those service dogs. I've seen them at my gym. I think this one guy had a problem with seizures, and supposedly the dog could smell something coming off the guy's body maybe minutes before he had a seizure. Something like that. I remember being very fascinated, but this says that they can detect cancer sooner. If they're sniffing around, licking. I mean, I kind of like this one because obviously they have canine dogs with the with the police and shit and the the drug dogs and stuff, and they're always smelling all kinds of shit. So this is kind of an interesting one I wanted to just share. This is so the next one, it says you're less likely to have allergies just because you're building an immunity to all the whack crazy shit that goes through your dog. Probably licks his or her asshole and privates and stuff. So it's not really, what I'm saying? So there's definitely opportunities to build an immunity. So that's kind of an interesting one. And it says here it'll help your heart. Well, fucking A, good. I'm glad it goes to the heart. You know what I'm saying? It actually gets the main organ there. Shit. And it says that their dog owners are much more likely to survive a heart attack. Which to me, if we break down in a small form, it means anxiety. Like a small form, a small form. So that means it helps people with heart, so it can help you with anxiety. So the next one, this is another duh one. You're less likely to feel depressed. Well, I fucking hope so. I mean, shit, who gets a dog to feel depressed? Man, this dog is depressing me. You know what I'm saying? So that's great. I mean, they should prescribe, on top of gym memberships and exercise and swimming and walking and eating pizza, they should prescribe fucking a dog, walking a dog, connecting with a dog for antidepressants. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. The rest of these just it says you'll grow old gracefully. Well, cool. That's cool. I'm glad. Gracefully. Next one is your risk of general illness decreases. Well, that kind of speaks to the one before. And then last but not least, you'll feel safer. I suppose for bigger dogs. Although Lulu, if someone tried to fuck with your boy, she would definitely put all of her might in it. I tell you. And that's true love right there. That's some love. So these may have seemed obvious, or these may have been kind of mundane, but I think they are very important to highlight because dogs are great. You know, DOGGOD. I think I said that before on this podcast. And I think when I may have left off, improves your social life, so that's good. I know if I'm in public, right, and I see a dog, I mean, even if there's beautiful women around, sure, I'll of course look at them, but like if there's a dog, I mean, that dog has got like all the love in the world, no hate, no judgment, none of that shit. And you can look at that fucker and be like, look at this thing. It's the best. It's the best thing going right here. All these people who are caught up in themselves. I don't even want him, whatever. God bless them. But you see, like, I just connect. I always, like, look right at the dog, and it just makes me smile. It fucking makes me smile. And I know when I have Lulu and people, ask questions and make them smile, and it's just such a cool thing. So definitely wanted to highlight that. I think that was one I may have glazed over about improving your social life. So there you have it. Just a couple of things about my dog Lulu, the benefits of having a dog, and then just a lot of positive shit. All right, so I'm going to get into my song of the week. So this song is a song by Neil Young, and it's called Try. It's on an album that he's going to be releasing here in June called Homegrown. The album was supposed to come out in the 70s, but he scrapped it for some reason. And it includes this song Try on it. Now, he started doing this song live, I believe, around like 2007, 6, 7, 8. And my good friend Tom made me a bootleg of a couple of songs from recent shows during the 2007-2008 tour, because I guess Neil Young played a bunch of older songs on that tour, and Try was one of them. He did it on the piano. And this song off of Homegrown, there's like guitar and it's a little more folky. Really good. Like, such a great song. One of my favorites. It's so simple, and the song's called Try. The lyrics are so simple but so passionate, and I just connect with them so much. I'm going to read them to you here in just a minute. But I do want to just highlight that the live version of this song he does on piano, and it's amazing. I fell in love with the song. I mean, you know how it is when you first hear a song, if it's like done differently or whatever, however you first hear it sometimes is how you like connect with it. So if you hear it in the studio version or a live version or whatever, it maybe feel a little bit foreign. So although I'm including the studio version of Try off of the album Homegrown on my song list, and then eventually on the True Blue playlist, which you can find at all my social media and on Spotify, I still wanted to highlight that the live version is just wonderful. I don't know. So you can go on YouTube and find, I think there's maybe one or two of them. The one I have, though, I've not been able to find on YouTube. I forget where it was recorded, but it was during his 2007-8 tour, and it's great. I mean, the lyrics and just the piano, it complements it so well. But this version is also really good. I mean, it's very folky. Lyrics are still there, the passion. Neil Young's voice has this quiver and just like this, you can just hear it. It's just one of those voices, very distinct. The inflection, all the things that like go along with this. So this is a great song. I was well pleased to see that this song was being released early before the album. So I'm going to read you the lyrics to it. Again, it's called Try. Very simple. Here goes with the lyrics. Darling, the door is open to my heart, and I've been hoping that you won't be the one to struggle with the key. We got lots of time to get together if we try. The waiting time is over. No man sees around the corner. Walking in the rain and coming home dry. There's something missing there. It's easier to care and try. And I try to wash my hands, and I try to make amends, and I try to count my friends. I'd like to take a chance, but shit, Mary, I can't dance. So here's looking up your old address. Golly, what a mess. We gotta take the rest and try. We got lots of time to get together if we try. We got lots of time to get together if we try. I mean, how beautiful is that, I mean, he ends it with, and I'm a big fan of when people repeat shit. And Morrissey does this a lot, so I love me some Morrissey. I love when they drive the point home and it sounds melodic. I'm a sucker for it. And in this song, it's no different. We got lots of time to get together if we try. I mean, very simple and very true. I mean, think about how much time we really have. You know? I mean, there's many different ways of looking at time, but it's definitely, there's so much of it that, you know, goes wasted. You think you're so, you know, busy or wrapped up in things. And this song is saying we got lots of time to get together if we try. Perfect example of the Zoom calls with my homies where we, you know, you see each other and stuff. They were like, man, we should have done this a little sooner. And for me living out here, I don't get to see those guys. So I was, you know, I'm like, yeah, this would have been cool if this was more like in the know a little bit earlier into my New Mexico life. I mean, even still now, but one of the positive things definitely from this pepperoni virus is that kind of connection. So, you know, with all this stuff going on, and then just connecting with people, I've had a couple friends come by, you know, we're smoking and chilling and shit, talking on the phone, doing the Zoom calls and shit. It really triggered. And then this song being released in the last week was just awesome. And yeah, I love some of these lines, you know, walking in the rain and coming home dry. Like, that's powerful, you know? You think about that. There's something missing there. It's easier to care and try. Like, I'm reading this, and it's even, like, conjuring up emotions in me just from reading this, because it's, again, for me, so simple, but the imagery, just the word choice is just great. You know, he says, darling, the door's open to my heart, and I've been hoping that you won't be the one to struggle with the key. I mean, damn, that's some hardcore shit. But right away, painting that picture, very simple. We can all relate to that idea. You know, the key fits and, you know, hand in glove, all that kind of thing. We got lots of time to get together if we try. Again, he says it in that first verse. Yeah, just again, really powerful shit. And again, I love how simple things can be. Sometimes we overthink things, and, you know, it has to be perfect, has to be a certain way. You know, this podcast is a great example of that not having to be the case. Just do it. You know, just stutter through it. Say what you got to say. You know, do your thing. Talk about your fucking dog. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Go adopt a dog. Spend a couple months with him or her, and then talk about it. So yeah, just the song's great. These lyrics are very impactful, very emotional. They definitely hit close to home for your boy. So I just wanted to read them to you and share them with you. All right, so gonna get into some little poetry here. I decided to read from this book by William Carlos Williams, which is one of the coolest names ever. William Carlos Williams. Love that. Tell you why I love that. So my middle name is William. Okay, everyone in my fucking Irish family is named William. So that's that's my grandfather's name, who I never met, so that I carry his middle name is pretty cool. Carlos, if I have this correct, I'm pretty sure it translates to Charles in English. Carlos is Charles. And then my dad's Charles. My brother, who passed away, his name is Charles. So there's that. And then Williams. I mean, I have a homie. My best friend out here, shout out to my friend Tyler. It's his name. That's his last name, Williams. Not that, you know, but yeah, so all, you know, just really cool. I actually have a great friend. I have a great friend named Carlos. So there's a couple things with this name, but it just flows well. Anyway, he wrote a prose poetry book, which is more of a journal, but still poetry. And he entitled it Paterson, where he spent a lot of time. Paterson is, I believe, the second largest city in New Jersey next to Newark. Very, very, a lot of history with that city. My family is pretty much from there. All my Italian side, like my dad, my grandfather, and all that shit. I think my grandfather came from Italy. Yeah, he came from Italy. But he came to Paterson. And then just that, there's a book about it, because the Paterson I know is very kind of ghetto, and just like, you know, a lot of crazy shit happens there. But there's also a very beautiful part, you know, and there's actually a place called the Paterson Falls. There's waterfalls right in the middle of the city. It has a lot of history, like I mentioned, very nostalgic in a way. And it's kind of wild. Like, I didn't grow up knowing anything really about my dad's side of the family, until, as I got older. And then here recently, I did some Ancestry.com. I got linked to newspaper.com, which, by the way, is super accurate. I couldn't believe how much shit I found. But there was so much I found from, like, the Patterson Press and all these, like, local publications and shit. And it's just so crazy to see, like, so much of my family history coming from this city. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So this book, Patterson, by William Carlos Williams, kind of hard to find. I had to get this motherfucker on eBay. I haven't finished it, but I've read a good amount of it, and I highlighted some areas that stood out to me. A lot of this is prose, so it really doesn't go together, but I'll try to do some pretty dramatic pauses or serious pauses between me reading from this book. And again, everyone, thanks for sticking with me. You can find me online at Podcast True Blue. That's on Instagram and Twitter. Just wanted to shout that out. And again, thanks for rolling with your boy here. I'm going to do a little reading, some poetry here. All right. So again, this is prose. So this really doesn't have any title. It's just sort of like a journal and different kind of thoughts and different kind of poems and stuff throughout. So I have a couple sections marked off. All right. So here goes. And watch, wrapped, one branch of the tree at fall's edge, one mottled branch withheld among the gyrate branches of the waist-thick sycamore, sway less among the rest, separate slowly, with giraffish awkwardness, slightly on a long axis, so slightly as hardly to be noticed, in itself the tempest. It's fucking brutal, in itself the tempest. Fucking brutal. Love that. Yeah, I love that. I love this line, sway less among the rest, separate slowly. Sway less among the rest. Some good words there. And then with giraffish awkwardness, slightly on a long axis, so slightly as hardly to be noticed, in itself the tempest. Still brutal. Even reading through it twice, still brutal. Yeah, I love that. Love that. It's on page 21. It's fucking really good. Love how it, in a lot of this prose, it's like, again, like reading through like almost like a journal of poetry and thoughts. You just take so many different lines and stuff, and it just like, it's really powerful. Really just, you can really apply it to your own. There was my dramatic pause. Not too dramatic, but all right, here goes. But, creature of the weather, I don't want to go any faster than I have to go to win. Music it for yourself. Shh, beautiful. Let me read that again. But, creature of the weather, I don't want to go any faster than I have to go to win. Music it for yourself. I love that. I don't want to go any faster than I have to. I don't want to go any faster than I have to go to win. Music it for yourself. I kind of love that. It's like you want to really like hone in on the finer things in life. To win to me is to enjoy life, to just be happy. Music it for yourself. That means you can fill it with any kind of music you want. Music it for yourself. Whatever motivates you, whatever conjures up emotion, get into it. We're in the age of YouTube. Type in whatever song you fucking want and just listen, man. Just listen to that shit. Really cool. Really, really, really dug that. So the rest of these, I really haven't read through, but I'll just read through some of the ones that I highlighted and see if there's anything that I can speak on or recapture with it. Right. The green bush sways, is whence I draw my breath, swaying, all of a piece, separate. Livens briefly, for the moment unafraid. Interesting. I don't know if I said that word right. Livens maybe. Who knows? All right. Here's one. The thought returns, why have I not, but for imagined beauty, where there is none, or none available, long since put myself deliberately in the way of death, stale as a whale's breath, breath. Love that. Why have I not, but for imagined beauty, where there is none, or none available, long since put myself deliberately in the way of death? Why have I not, but for imagined beauty, where there is none, or none available? Man, that's a good one. where there's none available. That's a good one. Long since put myself deliberately in the way of death. To me, that just tells me long since I put myself deliberately in the way of death is like you're still going to gamble. You're still going to, go with it. Heartbreak, that shit hurts. Man, that shit hurts. But long since put myself deliberately in the way of death. Question mark. So, we're not saying death like you're dead, like death. I mean, to me, it says that's more of like, just taking a chance. Divorce is the sign of knowledge in our time. Divorce. Love that one. Divorce is the sign of knowledge in our time. Divorce. With the roar of the river forever in our ears, inducing sleep and silence, the roar of eternal sleep, challenging our waking. It's pretty cool, challenging our waking. Yeah, that's for sure. During my breaks, I'll take naps on my couch. That definitely challenges my fucking waking, that's for sure. All right, let's see here. A man like a city and a woman like a flower who are in love. 2 women, 3 women, innumerable women, each like a flower, but only one man like a city. I can relate to this. This is an interesting one. Especially moving around, coming from Jersey, being by New York and Philly and Boston and all those cities and all that shit. And then just sort of seeing yourself, kind of connecting with the city, defining yourself as a city, and then all the romances, all the women that you meet, that you encounter, like a flower. Just interesting, and I think they're, very good choice of words. Like a flower. I like that. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. Oh, man. No flesh, but the caress. All right, everyone. Well, that's it. That's it for Patterson. Good old Patterson. And there's actually a movie called Patterson that came out maybe 2017, 18. It's kind of like a day in the life of this guy there. Doesn't go really too many places, but it's kind of cool if you're into like the poetry side, sort of a different look of Patterson. It's actually kind of cool, but again, very in the day in the life of, but really cool, especially if you're into poetry and the poetry that I just went through. Well, shit, that's it. Let's see how long I've been yapping for and talking about my dog. Damn, almost 45 minutes. I wanted to keep these short, just kind of short and sweet, but fuck it, right? I mean, I'm doing these motherfuckers like once every couple weeks now. Excuse me. And why not, right? Why not? Well, hey, I guess that's it, everyone. Thanks again for joining me. I am very grateful that you are spending time with me. This means a lot. This is kind of a cool thing, cool way I can reach folks and friends and shit and just spend some time, talk about some shit, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Give you some real, not be too scripted, but have a decent outline. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Anyway, have a great week. I hope you're able to go do what you want to do soon. I went and I bought records. Me and my mask bought some records last week, so that was cool. But yeah, God bless everyone. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you and talking with you soon. Take care. Bye.